Welcome to this explainer. Look, today I'm asking you to just leave your comforts at the door. Step out of that warm, fuzzy light of your everyday illusions and follow me deep into the shadows of the uncanny forest. I am Salvio Polido, the Pale Inquisitor, and you can consider this a grim, surgical examination of your own mind. We're going to strip away the soft fictions you tell yourself and put your psychology to the absolute, unforgiving test.
So, let's just dive right into it with a deeply uncomfortable question. Is your grief actually real? When you're out there weeping, showing the world all your pain, is it a genuine expression of sorrow? Or is it kind of just a mask, a performative display hiding unconfessed malice? Because when I look at your outward emotions, I don't see vulnerability. No, I see a carefully constructed defense mechanism, a cynical distraction meant to keep everyone, including yourself by the way, from seeing the rotting thoughts you're incubating in the dark.
Now, you might think you've escaped the sorcerer's staged tragedy, all those comfortable lies and performative victimhoods that society just so easily accepts. But now you face my crucible. And to the Pale Inquisitor, the mind is absolutely not a sanctuary. Your mind is not a safe space. The human skull is a laboratory. It's a crucible designed for one single purpose, a final alchemical trial to expose your innermost shadows to the blinding light of absolute judgment.
Let's compare two entirely different ways of seeing your existence. On one side, we have the sorcerer's poems. This represents the delusions you desperately cling to, that need for warmth and love all wrapped up in a beautiful decorative shroud. But on the other side, that's the Inquisitor's gaze. See, I don't read your poetry. I look at you with what I call atavistic fires. It's an ancient, surgical kind of sight that sees your raw, naked impulses way before your language can even try to mask them in polite excuses.
I completely dismiss everything you pretend to be. When I look at your poems of abandonment, your performative grief, I call it exactly what it is: a decorative shroud, a mere heresy of the unexamined thought. Your desire for sympathy is frankly pathetic. It's a calculated, cynical maneuver hidden right there behind your eyes. It's designed to ensure you survive, without ever forcing you to examine the actual rot festering inside your own character.
So, to truly understand how this rot takes hold, we need to move to the first stage of our interrogation, Section 1, the parable of the silent choir.
What you show on the outside is totally irrelevant if the inside is corrupt. You can cry, you can play the victim perfectly, sure, but a pure outward expression of grief means literally nothing if the mental silence beneath it is toxic. If your quiet moments are just spent tallying up all the wrongs done to you, then your mind is nothing but a breeding ground for maggots. You claim you just want love and survival? Right, how charming. But I see right through it. It's a deception masking a deep, incredibly silent cynicism.
And that brings us to a psychological monster I think you know all too well: the beast of resentment. This is the act of hoarding your past injuries like a dragon hoarding gold, just aggressively guarding your unexpressed envy as if it's some secret weapon that's going to save you one day. Come on, be honest with yourself. You flirt with this beast, don't you? Instead of confronting your traumas, you stockpile them. You feed them in the shadows, just waiting for the absolute perfect moment to weaponize your victimhood.
But hoarding weapons always comes with a physical cost. Let's dig deeper into the subconscious. Section 2. The parable of the hidden forge.
Listen, unexpressed envy doesn't just sit quietly in your mind. It actually acts as a literal physical weight on your soul. Think about the blacksmith who secretly forged these dark weapons beneath his shop, entirely convinced they'd protect him. But the sheer weight of all that hidden steel caused the actual foundation of his forge to crack and totally collapse. This is your fate. If you keep mislabeling your internal malice as mere survival tactics, your character is guaranteed to shatter under the massive, crushing weight of your own secrets.
So I want you to just sit with the question for a second. Under my cold gaze, there's literally nowhere to hide. What hidden malice are you currently mislabeling as survival? What terrible, cynical impulse are you justifying to yourself right this second just because you think it keeps you safe?
You might try to build this fortress of logic using your memories and intellect to hide these impulses. But honestly, your logic is nothing but civilization's incredibly thin coat of paint. Under my direct, atavistic gaze, your intellectual defenses mean absolutely nothing. I will heat your panic until your mental walls literally melt away like glass, exposing the pure, atavistic human brutality that's been lying just beneath your polite surface the whole time.
So your defenses have melted. The facade is entirely gone. We've arrived at the ultimate trial of the soul. Section 3. The final purgation.
A lot of you might actually be familiar with Friedrich Nietzsche's Alchemy of Solitude. You know, the whole idea of domesticating your inner demons, or the 7 devils, to journey toward the overman. But for me, mere domestication is a half measure. It's just not enough. My method demands a destructive, judgmental trial. I don't want to tame your devils. I want to burn away every single deception until absolutely nothing is left but the ash of absolute truth. Surviving this crucible of the skull is quite literally the only way forward. I want you to imagine me standing over you, my hand ice cold against your temple, whispering this terrible promise right into your ear. I will peel back the gray matter of your ego like wet parchment, for in my crucible, only that which is true shall survive the fire.
But what if you cling to your comforting lies? Well, let's examine the grim reality that awaits you. Section 4. The consequences of refusal.
For those who refuse to face the monsters they've been feeding in the shadows, a truly terrifying descent awaits. First, character collapse. Just like that hidden forge, your foundation is going to crack under the unexpressed weight of your envy. Second, the exposure of brutality. All your decorative shrouds and logic are going to melt away, revealing the ugly, raw malice you tried so hard to hide. And finally, succumbing to the void, a permanent, irreversible cessation of your psychological evolution.
If you fail this destructive trial, if you refuse to self-renew, you lose any chance of ever becoming the Overman. Instead, you're condemned to what I call the void of the glowing eyes. It's a state where you remain frozen forever, trapped in the dark, serving as nothing more than a tragic, silent monument to your own psychological death.
So hear this absolute truth. You cannot domesticate your malice. You cannot hide your envy behind some decorative shroud of grief. You have to willingly step into the crucible. You must harshly judge and incinerate your own shadow monsters right in the atavistic fires of the mind. Only when everything false has been burned entirely away can the ash of absolute truth remain.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The choice is entirely yours, of course, but the Inquisitor is waiting. Will you have the courage to burn away your deepest deceptions and forge yourself into the Overman? Or are you going to cling to your performative masks, refusing the fire, only to freeze forever in the void of the glowing eyes?